Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX. If you're looking to improve in Warzone Ranked, gain more SR, and ultimately just hit higher ranks, well, that's what I'm helping you guys with today. In MW3 Warzone Ranked, I was an iridescent rank player every season, and in this video, I'm going to be explaining various strategies and tips that are going to allow you to pick up more kills and consistently get better placements. We're going to be breaking down a 19 kill ranked game that had an insanely hectic end game. So first things first, starting off here, where do you land? One very good strategy is to land on a contract. Most wanted contracts especially can be a great way if you land on it and then just quickly loot up. You can complete that contract very quickly and instantly have a ton of cash flow to be able to get your loadout and whatnot. Now, as we're doing this, we realize that we are being contested here. We have another team landing on it here. We had a lot of audio cues, and one of our teammates who's a little bit farther back is calling out and saying, hey, there's a lot of people landing here. So we make the decision, hey, let's not try to lose a 50-50 pistol fight going for a most wanted contract, and let's land slightly off. So we're gonna give up on the contract and we're gonna land slightly over. Now, at first, my teammate calls out and says, hey, this guy landed right here. Do you want to chow him? He dropped in. We're like, let's play it safe. Let's get a gun here before we go do anything. So I'm going to grab an XM4. He gets a gun and he's going to say, hey, I've got a gun. Let's go chow this guy because we are pretty sure there's only one person in here and it's two of us. So we're obviously going to use the power of each other. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble getting through this window here. I'm gonna go down here. Teammates are gonna end up picking me up though, so not a big deal. At this point, this team they've kind of disengaged slightly from here. They grabbed the most wanted. They've pulled off here, and we just need to get some decent guns here, get some plates and whatnot. And we need to start prioritizing getting some money so that we can get our loadout guns. Loadout guns, huge advantage obviously in this game. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that at the time of this game, we were only in gold rank because this was kind of towards the beginning of ranked. However, a lot of the people we're running into are people that have former iridescent calling cards and iridescent skins and whatnot. So just want to point that out that you're going to see some lower ranks because this is rank has not been out for very long, but this is still a very sweaty lobby. So we're going to see a guy in front of us here. Notice how I live ping before I ever start shooting, and that is just the most effective and simple way to communicate to your teammates of where someone is. Obviously, it's very hard to give a specific vocal call out and say, there's a guy at this position at this building. So if we just simply live ping before you start shooting, so trying to get in the habit of learning how to very quickly hit up on the D-pad on your controller, or if you're going to kind of custom bind it to a paddle or whatever, live pinging just extremely valuable. Now, as we're pushing up here, this team is in this building here. I'm getting a live ping. I also have the tracker perk that I picked up, which is going to give him keep them pinged longer. And we're trying to move up and take on this team here. Notice how when we move up, it is always cover to cover. We are never just running in the open. If you are fighting in the open, you're going to get absolutely gunned down in ranked. So see how my one teammate, Rad, he's kind of behind these bushes in this small wall. Triumph has been able to push up and get up next to the building. I am now making my time to get up to the building because I don't want to be in the open. Now, at this time, we do realize that we have a good amount of money here. So we're going to start dropping our money and we're going to try to get a loadout down quickly so that we can go fight these guys with our loadout guns. Because at this time, I have an assault rifle and I have a sniper. So this is not a good fight. Unfortunately, Rad, who is the one buying the loadout, a little bit slow in getting that loadout down. Not his fault by any means. And they're going to peek down and shoot him. So we're down a teammate. So as soon as this happens, Triumph and I have to realize, okay, we have to play very smart. We need to slow it down here and we need to play together. So instantly, when we are down a teammate, our play style is going to instantly change because we don't want to all end up going to the gulag and all just kind of completely lose any momentum here. So he's gonna throw in a play box and get that. I'm gonna quickly grab my loadout SMG. He's gonna smoke it, which wasn't a great smoke, but I'm gonna try to be very quick here. And I'm gonna grab my gunfighter SMG class here. So I quickly wanna take the time to explain how you should have your different loadouts set up and what is the best loadout right now to use in ranked. So generally speaking, the Jackal and XM4 are the two best guns in the game right now. This is my 8 attachment gunfighter build here if you want to use this. I'm not going to go in great details explaining these loadouts because I've done previous videos on this already on my channels. But if you want to see these, and this is going to be the XM4 build here as well. Only thing I'll say about this one is that you can definitely swap the gain twist to the reinforced barrel. But how do we set up our attachments, and also what perks, equipment, and whatnot should we be using? So number one, you're going to want to have a gunfighter of your SMG and your AR. Then you're going to want to have an overkill of both of these, but have the positions of them swapped. So for one of them, the SMGs first, and then for the other one, the ARs first. The reason for this is that way, whichever the first gun is, this is the one that you're going to be able to buy in the buy station for that cheaper price. So this will be a $2,500 gun. This will be a $2,500 gun, whereas these two gunfighter ones are $6K. Then after that, you should always have a battle ready class and possibly also a bandolier class. So this is going to be our wild card perk. What battle ready does is it gives us, it's going to, when we grab our loadout, it's going to give you a UAV and give you a utility box. In a loadout in ranked or in trios, it costs 12,500, but 3 UAVs cost 18,000. So it is actually cheaper if you guys have a bunch of money to just throw an extra loadout. Everyone grabs battle ready. You're all gonna get UAVs and utility boxes, and then you just pick up your other guns that you already had, assuming you got gunfighter first. Now, one little bonus tip here. This will probably get patched and nerfed or whatever here soon. This is definitely a bug. If you put on any blueprint of a gun, as long as it's just a custom blueprint, and if you put 8 attachments on it, it is only $500 in the buy station. This is definitely going to get patched soon, but I want to point that out. We did not do this trick in this game. We did it legit, but I'm just pointing that out that some people are taking advantage of this as of now. Okay, what about our other guns? As far as our secondary, it doesn't really matter. I'm going with the 9mm pistol. This does have technically better TTKs than the Siren does, but the Siren is basically like an SMG and it's really easy to use. So for most people, if you have the Siren leveled up, that is a great secondary. Our melee, it doesn't really matter. I think technically speaking, the knife has better movement speed, so I probably should be using the knife, but the melee is only going to matter because we might pull it out at times just to get from point A to point B faster because it has that unlimited tac sprint. Now, tacticals, I think generally smoke grenades are going to be our best option for ranked specifically. There are plenty of other options that can be good in various situations. I think stims can be great as well, but I think because of the big map and having to rotate, smokes ultimately are probably our best bet. Now, lethals, what I like to do is I like to personally run spring mines. Blast traps are good as well. These are basically like claymores or proximity mines. And then at least 1 or 2 of my other teammates are going to run grenades such as semtex or frag grenades or whatever that might be. And the reason for this is simply that if we are holed up kind of in a building more end game, we can put spring mines down and cut off certain entrances and exits. That way we're less likely to get kind of snuck up on from behind. Now let's talk about perks. So during this gameplay that I was showing here, there was actually they actually temporarily removed the tracker perk. The tracker perk overall is going to give you combat scout, which means when you shoot someone, they're going to be live pinged for a while, which I think is incredibly powerful because you can see where they're going when they're trying to get to cover. You can see if they're going to rechow you, which gives you a huge advantage. It's literally like temporary wall hacks is basically the best way to explain it. And then it's also going to be able to see their footprints, which is very useful as well. This has been taken out from rank though, and they're looking into probably adjusting this. So I think after that, I think quick fix is probably our next best option, especially since they've recently fixed quick fix. When I was running tracker, I would run survivor, which basically starts your health regen much faster, but there's not much of a point to run survivor and quick fix together. A lot of you guys already know that dexterity doesn't really do hardly anything in this game. It's just not worth using. So scavenger is another really good option because what scavenger does is whenever you run over dead bodies that you've recently killed, you're going to get extra ammo, extra cash, your lethals, equipment resupplied, and extra plates as well. So it's just really good to kind of keep supplied up on all of your stuff. And then finally, perk 3, if you're all going to run Ghost together, having Ghost as an entire squad is very, very powerful because good teams are going to be constantly trying to pop UAVs and get information. So if they're unaware of this, if you're running Ghost and you guys are all running suppressors, very, very powerful to do so. Okay, so back to the game now here. I've got my gunfighter SMG because in this fight, I know that I need an SMG. We're gonna push this building, so I wanted to just make sure I had my best SMG. I'm gonna pop the War Cry field upgrade, which gives me and my nearby teammates a speed boost during this. And we're gonna push them together. Notice the very good centering. We're looking at the top of the stairs. He's gonna challenge out. Second one chows. Now, we need to break this down here because a lot kind of happened here. As Triumph comes out, he's going to start fighting enemy number 1. He's going to do pretty much almost all the damage and win this fight. But by the time he is knocked, Triumph, my teammate, has lost basically all of his plates. At this time, he's yelling at me and making a call out. There's a second. And he is somewhere right over here behind this wall. So when that happens, I'm instantly looking to start going for the second guy. Triumph is from here realizes he's low plates, he's going to run back in to plate up so that he doesn't go down, because I am coming out just behind him and I'm fully plated. And you're going to see that guy starts to shoot Triumph, but Triumph gets away, gets to cover, and we're going to win that 2v2 gunfight just because of hitter shots, simple movement, good stuff there. Rad, our teammate who went down earlier, also just recently won his gulag, so he is back. Now at this point, we could go to the buy station. I could buy my AR, but I've got a purple GPR, pretty good gun, not the best. So instead, I'm gonna hold on to my money, and I'm gonna probably just wait for the public loadout to drop, which is gonna drop here at the end of the first circle closing, and then I'm gonna get my gunfighter AR. So in a perfect situation, what I would be doing is I would be getting your gunfighter gun 1 from the loadout that you buy, and then your gunfighter gun 2 from the public loadout. Now, if things are a little hectic, you guys get off to a bad start, things aren't going too well, then you can just get overkill, or you can get one gunfighter gun, and then you can buy that cheaper 5 attachment gun, as long as we had it set up correctly in our classes to do so. Or if you guys want to abuse that new kind of glitch that's going on, if that's still in the game at this time, and you're going to buy those $500 guns, I would just buy both of your $500 gunfighter guns. You're going to get 2 8 attachment gunfighter guns for only $1,000 at the buy station, and then just get a battle ready loadout. And that battle ready loadout is going to give you all UAVs and a munitions box. So the public loadout has just dropped. We're pushing up this hill, very sketchy hill to push up on. And we have to assume there's probably going to be more people getting the same loadout. And so as you see, I get it to the top of this hill, and notice how I don't just run straight to the loadout. I get to the top of the hill, I stop, and I scan. You have to take the time to do this. And when we do this, all of a sudden there's a guy here getting and our teammates are getting shot. Now, because I was holding a slightly different off angle, I'm able to very easily work over and get that kill. I'm hearing a parachute kind of floating above. So I've got a gold XM4 here, gonna hit good shots with it. And then again, my other teammate gets pushed, but again, because he's able to get that live ping for me, I have a very clear indicator of where it is, and I'm able to help him out. So notice there during that whole fight that we were all very together. We were in a close proximity, but we weren't hip to hip. We were, 5 to 10 meters apart, all looking at slightly different angles. So when one of us gets challenged, the other one is very close and able to rotate over and help get that trait. Now, unfortunately, both my teammates went down, but I was able to kind of pick up and get him back, and so I'm able to quickly get up to a buy station. I buy Triumph, I buy Rad back because he had already lost his gulag, and then we're waiting on Triumph because he is in his gulag since he had not died yet. Again, you guys have saw I got my loadout, so I have 2 gunfighter guns. I've got my gunfighter Jackal, gunfighter XM4, and at this point, I'm realizing that we are on the edge of zone, so I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna get this vehicle because Brad is landing back in, but unfortunately, it spawned him way on the other side of the map, and then Triumph has just won his gulag, but it also spawned him super far away. So I'm like, hey, if you're quick, I will have the car ready, and I'm gonna scoop you as soon as you grab the loadout. So Brad's coming in here. He's gonna be quick. I'm gonna back in and pick him up, and then we're gonna get out of here. Now Triumph, he spawned a little bit later because of that gulag, and he ends up making a mistake here. I had to come out of the zone because I had to get Rad out there to heal him because he had took a lot of damage. And by the time Rad heals, I can't get back there in time, and Triumph is also gonna miss the parachute pull off that dive. Runs out of time. We just don't have time to try to res him in the gas, or we all would die. So unfortunately, we just have to leave him. So a little bit hindsight 2020 there, all good. Our teammate just made a simple mistake there, and next time he should have just said, I can't get my load out, I'll try to get guns a little bit later. So again, we're down a player. Whenever you are down a player, our kind of thought process is we are not going to get into any unnecessary fights. We are only going to fight people if we absolutely have to. Now, thankfully, we have enough money here. We got a buy station pretty close to us. Gonna use the car to rotate over here. And again, as I'm coming in here, I'm kind of scanning the area with my eyes, trying to see if I see any enemies. Don't see anyone here. So we're gonna quickly get Triumph back. Now the bad thing is, because of all that stuff happening, is Brad has his loadout. I believe he got one of his gunfighter guns, but Triumph isn't gonna have any guns. So at this time, I'm like, hey, we need to get you some loot. Let's just try to loot up here. We're gonna grab a bounty contract because that's gonna give us basically free information. Gonna loot a self-revive, which is very, very important to have. And I'm trying to ping him guns and stuff and be like, let me just find you some decent ground loot guns so we can fight. Now, as I'm rotating back here, pick up another guy who's rotating late, and he's gonna make buybacks on his teammates. Instead of me trying to just keep following him here though, I'm looking at the mini map here and I'm seeing that this zone is still moving in. So I'm gonna go and cut him off. I could get in the car, but the car would clearly alert him that we were right there. So instead, I'm gonna just start working right, and I'm gonna keep my aim centered, gonna live ping him when I start shooting, get some team shots, and we're gonna get him down here. Now, you have to assume that everyone has a self-revive. You do not spawn in with a self-revive in Battle Royale or in Ranked, like in Resurgence you would, but we just need to be careful, and as you saw, I think that guy did have a self-revive. Another thing to take note with self-revives is that, unfortunately, there is almost no audio cue when somebody is self-reviving. So be very careful about that. Hopefully that's something they're gonna be fixing. Gonna loot a care package here. So we're gonna throw that. These can give you some pretty good stuff. They occasionally can give you specialists, although I don't think specialist is in a rank specifically, but they can often give you different streaks here. So we're gonna get an armor satchel, gonna ping a self-revive, and we start getting shot at. Instantly get to cover because it don't really know where I'm getting shot from, play it up, and then we start moving here. One thing I could have done in this situation, looking back, is that I definitely could have pulled out my melee by holding my melee button. Would have helped me move a little bit faster. Now again, I'm not trying to really get into any fights right now because I know that my teammates don't have the best guns, especially Triumph right now because of him getting bought back. So we realize that we've been on the edge of zone this whole time and that we just need to focus on rotating. We know there's people to our left. We're not gonna go pick that fight right now because we don't wanna just get caught fighting on the edge of zone. We wanna get into zone here. Again, notice how as I come up to the edge of this kind of the top of this hill, I'm just looking around here. I'm looking around, I'm scanning the area, making sure that we are safe to fly and rotate here. I don't see anyone until there's gonna be a guy right about here rotating in here, and I'm gonna make that call out here. And so I start pinging. So again, pinging is gonna be your best friend of how to make call outs of where people are. Get one down. We're gonna try for the second, but don't here. Now notice what I did here. This is a very subtle but important thing here. It doesn't end up mattering, but as soon as I get this down, instead of going for the finish, I instantly flick to the second player to attempt to get him before he gets over that kind of a hill and behind cover. Unfortunately, don't have time. So then once he's gone, we go back and get the finish. Now we're gonna start wrapping around and trying to cut this player off here. Unfortunately, get caught on the rocks. Rad is, again, he's giving us a great simple communication by pinging. He's saying up here, but when I see that ping, I can very quickly realize, okay, that's what he means by up there. Also see that player's head just barely there. Tricky area to push up here because if he peeks this, I'd be in a bad spot, but because Rad has kind of kept fire on him and done a little bit of damage to him, we know that that guy's most likely gonna back off and have to replate. I'm gonna toss a smoke just to kind of help with the push in case he does peek over as me and Triumph wrap around here. And again, you're gonna see, look at the minimap, all three of us are very close. We're not hip to hip, but we are very close to one another. We're trying to figure out where this guy went, not really sure, not really hearing any audio cues. We're coming into every building, we're kind of side canceling through, good centering, good pre-aims, assuming he's gonna be there. Looks like he got on the ATV and drove away here. So at this point, we're like, okay, we're probably good. Still checking. We realize that zone is moving in and that people are most likely going to be rotating in late. We have now made it to the edge of zone. And with a minute 30 left on this timer, we're realizing that there's going to be people rotating in behind us and that we're in pretty good position to potentially get some holds here. I spot one guy here. And when I do this, I say, hey, I ping him. There's a guy here, but I say, do not shoot. The reason for that is where he is right now. Excuse me, if I start shooting, it's very unlikely that I'm gonna be able to get this down because of how far away he is. And he would likely be able to get to cover and just reset this. So what my goal was here, because I knew there was a zip line right in front of me, I'm like, he's gonna take the zip. I'm just gonna keep aimed on him and we're all looking. The goal is to kind of team fire this, pinging some other enemies nearby. Unfortunately, when I try to start shooting him, when I try to mount, didn't realize that it kind of aim locked me and I couldn't look down. So he's gonna unfortunately get away. But again, I'm making call outs saying, hey, he's gonna rotate right. There's people to our left. We have to be careful. Now, unfortunately, we didn't set up with good enough angles here to get good shots on that guy and take advantage of that. And there's now a lot of people over here to our left. So we get a lot of these guys really weak. Unfortunately, my other teammates are not able to get shots on and help me. And during these crossing moments, that is where team shots are so important. If all three of us had an angle and were able to get shots from those guys, we easily could have downed 1 to 2 of those guys crossing. Unfortunately, teammates just weren't quite ready to get shots on. It's all good. So at this point, I'm trying to make calls and saying, hey guys, we have got to start rotating forward here because we're going to get wrapped up on by somebody else and we're going to get pinched here. Playing edge of zone can be good and bad. It's good that the zone can kind of be at your back and you know that nobody's most likely going to come straight from behind you. But at the same time, it's also risky because it's very easy for us to get pinched and held because that's where everyone's going to be funneling into. So my teammates are pinging this guy. I'm trying to wrap left and get a better angle on him. Again, I get him super weak, but unfortunately my teammates don't have much of an angle to help me during this and he's able to get away. At this time, I'm looking at zone. We are on the complete edge of zone and we have a long way to go. I'm making the call. I'm saying, hey guys, we have to prioritize rotating now. We can't fight this. We just have to get ahead here. And this is something we did kind of the majority of this game is we were kind of fighting the edge of zone this whole game and it ended up working out. And sometimes playing edge of zone can be an okay thing, but the general rule, that's something that we definitely could have improved upon this game, was to play center zone earlier and be more kind of on top of things. Unfortunately, because of just things happening, our teammates dying, trying to get buybacks, it puts us where we were kind of playing catch up the entire game. And that's just something that you have to kind of deal with. So again, notice the live ping, try to get team shots here. He's able to get the cover. Again, I'm kind of yelling at my teammates and I'm saying, let's go, 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 get ahead, get ahead, get ahead. And we are just trying to not get caught up in a bad spot where we don't want these teams to get ahead of us here. So not really worth taking shots on that here. This is a weird spot. I recognize that. Yes, I know there's people over here, but if I push forward here, I have zero cover to work off of. However, I notice a guy who is right here, just standing still, doesn't realize that we're here. Part of that probably because we are 1, all ghosted, 2, all running suppressors. And before I start shooting, I say, hey, there's a guy right here. He's in the open. Let's team shoot this. And I'm literally just going to call out 1, 2, 3, go. So I wait a second, we live ping him, 1, 2, 3, bam, that guy gets down instantaneously because all 3 of us are shooting at him. So being able to team shoot and just all be on the same page. Now this guy, I don't even waste the time because he's in the open, because he potentially could have saw me. I'm a lot quicker and I just start shooting, but I'm live pinging and communicating that. He's gonna self-revive, but we're gonna get that kill. Now, a lot of people out here, there's a buyback going. I see this guy here, realize there's definitely people over here. We're gonna work into this building and do a quick clear, meaning we're gonna very quickly clear this area and make sure nobody's immediately here. Once we realize nobody's here, we're gonna say, hey, we have potential huge holds out here. There's 1 to 2 teams that are fighting out on the edge of zone here. We have a minute 26 on this circle. Another great opportunity for us to get some good holds because we finally started to prioritize rotating ahead a little bit. And now we just have prime positioning here. Again, good team shots. We pick up a down here. We've got another late buyback here. Gonna lay down here. Team shots. This guy gets absolutely cooked. And at that point, pretty sure we've wiped this team. Now, during this whole fight, I'm saying, hey, we got to watch our back. We've got to watch our back here. And that is why my teammates start working back here. I'm staying back to make sure there's not any late stragglers. I'm clearing my left, clearing my right. You saw the guy that was up the top of the hill there. And we're going to work in here. So again, it's not a bad idea necessarily to play edge zone, because if we keep playing edge zone, the gas is going to be at our back and we know that nobody's going to be behind us and wrapping us from directly behind. But at the same time, playing edge zone also holds the risk of, if another team ends up getting great positioning on you, it's going to put you in a tough spot because it's either going to force you to fight through them or to fight all the way around them. Luckily, we didn't run into that. And so you have to be careful about, there's kind of 2 main play styles here about how you do your rotations. Do you keep working edge of zone and you keep kind of clearing your back and working around, or do you prioritize getting much more center zone earlier? The problem with going center zone is that you can get pushed from any angle and that you don't have the gas on your back to kind of like eliminate and kind of like be your friend here. So again, at this point, trying to get some good loot here. Unfortunately, we don't have a buy station. Gulag has just closed. Once Gulag has closed, that is kind of our signal for us to be like, okay, we are in the end game. We have to heavily prioritize positioning here, and we can't get into any unnecessary fights. Gonna throw a care package down here. Again, gonna give me another armor satchel, pinging that for my teammates. counter UAV, pinging the PDS, which I'm already holding one. Very, very useful to have going into an end game here. And I'm trying to look at the minimap here and decide where do we want to go. And we've been kind of fighting this like top right zone this entire time. So I'm saying, hey, I think we're good here. I think we can just keep wrapping top right. Just kind of waiting for my teammates to get situated here. And then we are going to clear our deep right, because whenever we are rotating edge of zone, you have to assume that there might be somebody else out there. So we're going to take a wide rotation. We're really focusing on this deep right because a lot of other people like to do the same strategy. So I'm kind of keeping my eyes out this way, trying to see if anyone's out here. You see my teammates are working way up, clearing the hill to our right. When my teammate here is going to make a call out that there is an enemy here. And again, we're going to all line up. 1, 2, 3, go. Guy gets absolutely cooked here. Now we get that quick down and finish here. And this was actually a little bit of a mistake. As soon as we do that, we should have paused and waited for a moment to see if anybody peeked out. Instead, me and Triumph start going. And that was probably a bad idea because we have absolutely zero cover here. And an enemy is actually going to peek out of this doorway. Triumph is going to kind of veer left and get off to the side here. And because of live pings, able to team shoot. Luckily, it was only one other guy, and between the three of us, we were able to kind of keep him off us, and we're good to go there. So again, we are still not in zone yet. Gonna throw down munitions, get my smokes, more spring mines here, and we need to, again, keep rotating in here. Now, we realize there's a team up here, and at this point, I realize, okay, we're not in zone. These rocks are kind of in zone, but they're not great cover. If we start fighting someone down here, we're in a horrible spot. Where can we go that's going to give us really good cover to work off of for the next zone? And I quickly realized that this building down here doesn't seem like anyone's down there. This is where we want to be because it's going to give us a lot of cover. So when we're talking about rotating, positioning, the number one thing to think about is cover to fight off of. When you're in a building like this, we've got multiple angles to use to get behind to avoid taking shots. And it's still positioning us kind of in the corner of this zone where I know it's very unlikely that we're going to get wrapped behind because we've just cleared that whole angle out. So again, teammates are doing some good live pings there. I'm realizing that window up there is kind of a bad area to fight off. It's very open. So I decided to get down, hit some good team shots. Now we've got our next zone pull. So now we have to get up to this farther zone. We know there's people over here, but again, this is now that we're in the end game, we have to shift our perspective and we say, even though these guys are close, we have to heavily prioritize rotating and positioning here. So once I kind of do a quick clear of my left, I don't see anyone. I'm going to start saying, hey, we need to get going. Let's wide right wrap again up the hill and let's get there before anyone realizes that we're here. So again, being ghosted, all running suppressor is very good. See my teammates taking that wide right rotation up the top hill here. Pull out the melee to get a little bit of movement speed. Now, there's a bunch of people here. I just saw 2 people go behind the wall. There's a guy landing in, and I'm yelling at my teammate at this time, do not shoot, do not shoot, do not shoot, because look where we are. We have zero cover in front of us. If we start shooting this and we give away our position to these guys who are all facing this way because they're fighting people ahead of us, we are going to get absolutely beamed and just get absolutely cooked. So I'm saying, don't shoot, don't shoot. We need to, where can we find a hook? I get to this rock and I'm like, this is not going to be good enough. And then I'm going to say, let's get to this next set of buildings before they see us. So I ping it. One of the guys does see us, but it's too late. So we're able to get to cover and get plated up here. I'm going to call on my counter UAV just to mess with the enemy so they don't have any UAV knowledge here. And I'm going to pick a beautiful piece of cover. Right now, this is a great kind of head glitch to fight off of. Only my head is exposed to the enemies. So if somebody's going to shoot at me, it's going to be very difficult for them to hit targets here. See a guy to my left, hit great shots. Notice a guy in the bush, also going to get him. Now I get the down and finish on one, but the other one was able to crawl behind cover. So I have a decision. I could push across here, but I know there's lots of people out here to the right here. And I'm going to say, you know what? Me pushing across to get one potential finish, it's just not worth it. I'm going to reload. I'm going to play it up here. I'm just going to wait, and I'm not going to risk overextending for this one extra little kill. And that guy tries to repeat. I think he's trying to grab some loot or something. I'm going to re-knock him anyway here. So again, we're just trying to prioritize cover. Now that I've knocked him, I am going to push up here. I'm going to throw a spring mine down just in case somebody's going to wrap up there. Just throw it in the middle of that loot here. And again, we're just kind of checking. I'm staying behind cover. Notice how I'm not in the open here. I've always got an extra strategy for wherever I get shot from. Start getting shot down. I'm trying to figure out where's our next power position. We've got this next zone coming. As soon as you're getting that next zone, you've got to be thinking ahead and say, where do we want to be? This building here offers good high ground. It's a relatively center zone. This is where we want to be. So I ping it and say, hey, this is where we're going. Let's go. We get there. When I notice an enemy ahead, hit some, he's pretty weak here. Again, the tracker perk, very, very useful there. If you're not using tracker, and especially since we can't right now, just really try to be proactive about getting those live pings by actually hitting it yourself. Now notice where I position myself here. I am in the window here, and notice how I'm not standing outside the window. Windows can be a little bit tricky to get in and out of this game depending on your mantling settings. And so I don't want to risk being out the window and then getting caught in the open here because I don't have much cover ahead of me. So I'm going to stand on that window ledge so that I can very easily get in and out of cover if needed here. Now I'm trying to get a better positioning here, trying to see, can I get on this roof here, get a better angle to shoot ahead here and kind of hold some of these teams rotating on ahead of us. Find a ladder here when I'm gonna think I have a great spot, but then I get absolutely cooked. Just get team shot by 2 people, probably with both XM4s. But got that self-revive. Self-revive absolutely crucial in the end game like this. Gonna get plated up. Rad is gonna go down. These guys are gonna push off that down here, but I don't wanna overextend here. I don't wanna risk going down again here. Triumph is kind of finessing by himself. Again, I have great positioning. I don't want to give this up. So I'm going to keep staying up here. Triumph is going to keep kind of finessing below me. I'm trying to get an angle when I spot this guy right below me. Now I'm going to take advantage of that because I know if I drop down, I can get that kill. Triumph goes down to the other teammate, and at this time, he's calling out to me. He's saying, he's one shot, he's one shot, he's one shot. Not quite one shot, but I get the kill. Now, as soon as I get this kill, I believe there's a guy like right down here self-reviving, and he's saying there's one self in the corner, one self in the corner. Now, there's no audio cue of that, so I'm looking, I'm like, where the heck is this guy? He gets out, and he's gonna try to go for a buyback. We get him, and he does make the buyback, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy my teammates back. So I run in there, buy him back, buy a gas mask so I can in a UAV. That way I have time to get out of zone and not die. Now, I could have bought more things. I could have bought more UAVs, a precision airstrike, etc. But I don't want to risk staying at that buy station that long because after the buyback, there are going to be 2 huge flares and everyone's going to know that I am there. So I got to just be quick, get in and out there. Going to use some smokes to rotate here, use the gas max to get plated up while in gas. Teammates are kind of just floating above there. And at this point, I can't really worry about what my teammates are doing. I got to go. I got to kind of play for myself. Now that they're back, once they get in, they're going to be able to hopefully be of help to me. But if not, I can't really concern myself at this point. Again, we get to the next piece of cover, get to a roof with a great vantage point. We're seeing a buyback. We've got information, so I'm aiming down sight. Going to pick up some of these guys who are weak coming out of the gas. Gas is forcing me to move, though, and my gas mask is burnt out, so I have to keep moving, keep plating. We've got good live pings, good comms. Hit great shots on this guy here. Again, the gas has forced me, so I gotta go. I don't have time. But because my teammates are out ahead of me, they're kind of able to just be enough of a distraction, help enough team shots. There we go. Awesome, awesome win. Ended up dropping 19 kills myself, 24 elims total. Great team effort as well, though, from the boys. Just great communication overall, and that process of playing together as a team is just so crucial. So again, one other thing that we didn't talk about today, though, but is so important is you've got to be able to play with a regular squad and just be able to communicate. Even if the people you play with are not that good in terms of their skill level, if we at least have good communication and you can just be together as a team, that will be better than nothing. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. Check out a stream here on YouTube or Twitch. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.